have been reported to police, but no deaths. A woman and a baby are dead, and a man is in the hospital after a shooting Friday morning in Durham that police are saying appears to be domestic related. It happened around 10 a.m. in Durham's Hope Valley. Officers arrived. A woman and a baby were found dead inside the home. Property manager Vince Tyler tells WTVD they both lived there.
I'm the one that happened to move there. Yeah, she's been there, probably about 5 years. Yeah, about 5 years.
North Carolina's statewide school board is halting plans to strip a second academically low-performing school away from local control. Multiple media report that the State Board of Education will allow Wayne County school leaders a third option beyond shutting down Carver Heights Elementary School. You're listening to NCN News.
The Carolina Hurricanes invite you to join them in celebrating all things North Carolina as their homegrown series continues Friday, January 11th, as the Canes host the Buffalo Sabres. Enjoy a Carolina fried pork chop sandwich, maybe some banana pudding, beer from Deep River Brewing Company, music from Frontside, and specially designed t-shirts from Oak City Collection. The homegrown series, Sabres at Canes, Friday, January 11th. Learn more at hurricanes.com/homegrown.
State lawmakers are cranking up a new legislative session. Everything's on the table. The budget, education, transportation, regulation. What are they doing, and how is it affecting you, your family, your business, your wallet? Carolina Journal helps you find answers. Available each month as a free newspaper. Every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your #1 source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
Harsh weather has been wreaking havoc in Europe, causing at least 21 deaths. CBS's Larry Miller has more on the story.
A deep freeze, high winds, and a week and a half of the heaviest snow in decades have brought death and havoc to much of Europe, trapping people in cars, homes, and hotels in Germany, Austria, Bosnia, Bulgaria, and beyond. Entire towns are isolated. Armies have been called in. An avalanche crashed through a Swiss alpine hotel with some Austrian ski resorts under 9 feet of snow. Helicopters airlifted 66 teens from a guest house. No relief in sight. More snow on the way. Larry Miller, CBS News, London.
Another round of renovations is set to begin at a North Carolina airport. Officials at Charlotte Douglas International Airport say renovations on Concourse C will begin Monday as part of the airport's $2.5 billion capital investment program. The project is scheduled for completion in the spring of 2020. Work will begin at the far end of the concourse and continue in stages. Most work will occur between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. to limit disruptions. Renovations on Concourse B are scheduled for completion this spring. Snow is expected to return to North Carolina this weekend and could bring along a mixed bag of freezing rain and sleet conditions with it. National Weather Service meteorologist Jonathan Blaze is in Raleigh and tells NCN News the roads will be slick on Sunday morning.
The roads and bridges and things like that will probably be a bit of a mess late Saturday night and especially Sunday morning. Regardless, it doesn't take much freezing rain at all to cause havoc there, especially bridges. Being as cold as it's going to be, for a few days leading up to this, they'll readily try to freeze over.
The country music world got together to pay tribute to the late Troy Gentry Wednesday at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. Proceeds from the event went to a cancer foundation named for Gentry, who died in a helicopter crash in New Jersey in 2017. Alyssa Vale, NCN News.
AM 590 WCAB Rutherfordton with FM translator service on W265DW at 100.9.
I'm Michelle Franzen. The nation's longest government closure now heading into its 4th week with no end in sight. 800,000 federal workers, either furloughed or working without pay, did not see a paycheck this week. President Trump at the White House roundtable meeting Friday, still pushing for border wall funding, but is holding off, he says, on another option.
President Trump says declaring a national emergency at the border would be the easy way out and called on Congress to keep pushing toward a deal that can get him the funding he wants for a border wall.
This is a 15-minute meeting. If they can't do it, I will declare a national emergency.
The president suggesting a deal is easy to come by, but his contentious meeting with Democratic leaders Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer on Wednesday lasted just 14 minutes before a frustrated Mr. Trump walked out. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
House Democrats, meantime, say they're ready to introduce a previously passed bill in the Senate.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi Friday saying she's willing to bring up a measure passed by the Senate last year to reopen the government.
A Republican Senate initiative that passed 92 to 6 in the Senate. We're putting it on the floor here, sending it back to them to say, we take yes for an answer.
That bill would not have money for a border wall. Senate Leader Mitch McConnell last Tuesday.
I would urge our Democratic colleagues to get past these harmful political games.
McConnell still backing the president's stance. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Police in Paris say dozens of people were injured in an explosion at a bakery this morning. At least 3 dozen injured. Police say it appears a gas leak is the cause.
Firefighters were already on their way after a suspected gas leak was reported when the explosion occurred at the bakery in the 9th arrondissement of central Paris. Several firefighters are expected to be among the wounded. People have been advised to avoid the area.
ABC's Julia McFarlane reporting from the Foreign Desk in London. You're listening to ABC News.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
In California, police are revealing new details of a killing of a 22-year-old officer, Natalie Corona, in Davis.
This is just an absolutely devastating loss.
Davis Police Chief Darren Pytel says Officer Corona was ambushed on Thursday night.
The suspect basically just opened up fire, shot her once, and she went down to the ground.
The suspect calmly walked home and hung out with his roommate when police found his backpack at the scene. They surrounded the rental. Police heard a gunshot and a robot was deployed.
Eventually, we came across the subject and he was deceased.
Police still don't know the motive for the attack. Corona was the first officer in the department to die in the line of duty since 1959. Todd Ant, ABC News.
A major Broadway show opened in Puerto Rico along with its star, raising money and the spirits for the hard-hit island. ABC's Dave Schreiber has more.
A Tony-winning show is being performed for 2 weeks in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Lin-Manuel Miranda is reprising his role in Hamilton. The show's creator spoke on stage Friday night.
A lot of people moved a lot of mountains to have us be here in Puerto Rico tonight and to raise as much money as we can for Puerto Rico while we're here.
The show is expected to raise thousands of dollars for artists and cultural groups that have been struggling since Hurricane Maria. Miranda last appeared in the Broadway version of Hamilton back in July 2016.
ABC's Dave Schreiber. This is ABC News.
Results not typical. Do you owe the IRS more than $10,000 in personal or business taxes and you can't afford to pay? Get tax representation. The industry experts with negotiating with the IRS with an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call today and the IRS will be contacted the same day, putting a stop to bank levies and wage garnishments. Call the tax representation hotline at 800-556-7089. 800-556-7089. That's 800-556-7089.
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Come on over to Oakland Feed and Seed for all your animal health needs. Love your pets? Let them know it. Oakland Feed and Seed has all-in-one worm pills, flea pills, dog shots, and much more. In addition to that, trust Oakland Feed and Seed for jelly, jams, and honey, both clover and sourwood. Depend on Scott and his team to always have what you're looking for. Come check them out. You'll never know what you'll find. Now, that's my kind of store. Oakland Feed and Seed, Oakland Road, Spindale.
Good Saturday morning. A cloudy and cool day is in the forecast today with high temperatures climbing into the lower 40s today. Just a slight chance of a few flurries. Not expecting any impacts from these flurries today. But tonight, our precipitation chances increase. A chance of a wintry mix, but it should be mainly rain tonight with lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow, highs climb into the upper 30s with rain likely early in the day. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Well, Kat says no impact, and who are you going to believe here? The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning in effect for all of our listening area. That begins this afternoon at 1 o'clock. It continues until tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Here's what we do know. We have about a 40% chance of precipitation today. Now, that could be a mixture, and is likely to be a mixture of rain, possibly some snow, possibly some freezing rain, possibly some sleet. Some forecasts are saying little or no accumulation is expected. Other forecasts are saying that we could have up to 2 inches of accumulation. Later tonight, a 90% chance of precipitation. Yes, it will come in the form of rain, freezing rain, possibly some sleet, possibly some snow. The question is going to be the temperature, because our overnight low is expected right around the freezing mark, around 32. Then tomorrow, 70% chance of more precipitation. That is likely to come mainly in the form of rain, with a high around 40% chance of rain tomorrow night, a low around 33. That's only 1 degree above the freezing mark. Monday, hopefully we'll move the mess on out of here. Slight chance, about a 30% chance. We could see some early morning snow, possibly some rain mixed in with that. Mostly cloudy, high Monday up near 42. The good news is Tuesday, sunshine. Afternoon high around 50. Sunshine on Wednesday, a high around 53. Partly sunny on Thursday, a high of 51. And then a 30% chance of rain developing again on Friday. Otherwise, cloudy skies Friday, a high around 53. I think we'll just have to wait and see and be prepared that this, that, or the other could happen today and tomorrow. Once again, the winter storm warning is now in effect from 1 o'clock this afternoon until 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Currently, we have cloudy skies across Rutherford County. Our current temperature reading in Rutherfordton is 36 on this Saturday morning. Coming up later today, we have college basketball action. It will be the University of North Carolina Tar Heels taking on Louisville. Now that pregame, the countdown to tip-off, starting at 10:30 here on the radio this morning. Tip-off today will be at noon. It's another ACC conference game today for the Tar Heels and Louisville. Later tonight, if you enjoy the hard rockin' sounds of the 80s, you'll want to tune in for Rebel Yell. Greg Hayes behind the microphone later tonight, 9 o'clock until midnight, here on WCAB 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's time to take a look at this morning's obituaries, and this morning I have 7 obituaries to report. 94-year-old Mrs. Mary Lou Hodge of Rutherfordton passed away on Thursday at the Spartanburg Regional Medical Center. Arrangements are incomplete at this time. They will be announced by McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Services. McMahon's will be serving the family of Mrs. Mary Lou Hodge of Rutherfordton. 85-year-old Mrs. Betty Ruth McGrew Hill of Rutherfordton passed away yesterday at the Cleveland Regional Medical Center in Shelby. She was a native of Pickens County, South Carolina, worked as a secretary, member of the First Baptist Church of Rutherfordton. Left to cherish her memories, her daughters, Sandra Freeman of Bostic, Susan Sane of Rutherfordton, 5 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, her brother Jimmy McGrew of Pickens, South Carolina. Online condolences are available at crowmortuary.com. Services will be private and will be held at a later date. Crow's serving the family of Mrs. Betty Ruth McGrew Hill of Rutherfordton. 74-year-old Mr. Marvin DeWitt Silver Sr. of Forest City passed away Tuesday at the Rutherford Regional Medical Center. DeWitt was a native of Rutherford County. He was a member of the Goods Creek Baptist Church, worked in textiles, retired after many years of service at R&D Weaving. Left to cherish his memory, his wife, Sylvia Church Silver, also a son, Marvin DeWitt Silver Jr., two sisters, Janice Silver Swink, her husband Donald, and Brenda Silver, husband Anthony, her husband Randy, also three brothers, Jesse Donald Silver, his wife Jetty, David Carl Silver, and Norris Ray Silver. Also among the survivors, two granddaughters and an adopted daughter, Dina Byers. Online guest registry available at harrelsonfuneralhome.com. In honoring the wishes of the family, no formal services will be conducted. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Mr. Marvin DeWitt Silver Sr. of Forest City. 62-year-old Mrs. Cora Swink Hudgens of Rutherfordton passed away at her residence on Thursday. Left to cherish her memory, her husband of more than 41 years, Benny Hudgens, also her daughter, Tabitha Hudgens, her sisters, Helen Shires, Libby Blackburn, Mozella Tate, Martha Matheny, her brothers, Don Swink, Dean Swink, many nieces, nephews, and friends. Funeral service will be held this morning, beginning at 11:30 at the Spindale Fellowship Holiness Church in Spindale. Family will be receiving friends prior to the service from 10 until 11:30 this morning at the Spindale Fellowship Holiness Church. Burial to follow in the Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Online condolences may be made at crowmortuary.com. Crows serving the family of Mrs. Cora Swink Hudgens of Rutherfordton. 72-year-old Mr. Bobby Gene McMahon of the Mountain View community, Rutherfordton, passed away on Wednesday at his residence. He was a veteran of the U.S. Army, serving in the Vietnam War, a graduate of R.S. Central High School, attended Gardner-Webb College, and retired from Sunoco Crellin after 31 years of service. Survivors include his wife of 54 years, Nancy Green McMahon, also one daughter, Tara McMahon Millspaw of California, three sons, Mike McMahon, his wife Ricky of Rutherfordton, Todd of Forest City, Mark and his fiancée Holly Hartel of Cowpens, South Carolina. Two brothers, Keith McMahon of Greenville, South Carolina, Scott McMahon and his wife Susan of Rutherfordton. Three grandchildren also listed among the survivors, also one great-grandchild. Family will be receiving friends this morning from 11 until noon at McMahon's Funeral Home. The funeral service will begin at noon in McMahon's Funeral Home Chapel. In lieu of flowers, memorials may be made to the American Diabetes Association. A guest registry is available at McMahansFuneralHome.com. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Service in charge of the arrangements for Mr. Bobby Gene McMahon of the Mountain View community in Rutherfordton. 80-year-old Junior Humphreys of Cliffside passed away Thursday at his residence. He was a native of Jackson County, North Carolina, of the Baptist faith. Left to cherish his memory, his wife of 62 years, Carolyn Mills Humphreys, his daughter, Lisa Humphreys Tollison of Cliffside, also a son, Billy Ray Humphreys, his wife Cindy, also of Cliffside, his brother Larry Humphreys, his wife Tessie of Shelby. He is also survived by 3 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren. Funeral service will be held tomorrow afternoon, beginning at 3 o'clock at the Harrelson Funeral Home Chapel, burial to follow in the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church Cemetery in Cleveland County. Family will be receiving friends 1 hour prior to the service from 2 until 3 o'clock at the Harrelson Funeral Home. Memorial donations requested to Hospice of the Carolina Foothills in Forest City. Online guest registry available at harrelsonfuneralhome.com. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Junior Humphreys of Cliffside. 85-year-old Lois Faulkner Street of Mooresboro passed away yesterday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills in Forest City. She was a native of Cleveland County, worked at the Esther Mill in Shelby, and then for Fasco Industries. Her last job, an associate for Walmart in Forest City for 15 years. A faithful member of the Liberty Baptist Church, served with her late husband in the senior ministry. Left to cherish her memory, her daughter, Donna K. Fox of Mooresboro, also a sister, Judy Head, her husband Bill of Grover, 2 brothers, Ellis Newton Jr. of Boiling Springs, and Gene Newton, his wife Donna of Willow Springs. 3 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandchildren also among the survivors. Funeral service will be held on Monday afternoon, beginning at 3 o'clock at the Liberty Baptist Church, burial to follow in Cleveland Memorial Park. Family will be receiving friends 1 hour prior to the service from 2 until 3 o'clock at the Liberty Baptist Church. Online guest registry is available at harrelsonfuneralhome.com. Memorials are requested to Hospice of the Carolina Foothills in Forest City. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Mrs. Lois Faulkner Street of Mooresboro. That is a look at our Saturday morning obituary announcements. Momentarily, we'll head to the telephone. We'll check with local law enforcement agencies and our own team of reporters scattered throughout the area. We'll find out what's happened last night and what's in store for the weekend. You're listening to the Saturday Morning Report on WCAB.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Well, thank you, Christian. It is 20 minutes past 7 o'clock, and our first call of the morning goes to the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department. And this morning, Sergeant Harden's on duty. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm here, and I'm getting ready for whatever's going to happen this weekend.
Well, hopefully it comes a little bit tonight and goes away by in the morning, suit me.
Yeah, every forecast that I have this morning, everybody is predicting something totally different.
Oh, that's usually the way it goes, but we just urge everybody to stay off the roads. Luckily, it is the weekend, but everybody relax and stay off the roads tomorrow till it warms up enough to clear up. And there's always lots of accidents and people driving when they don't need to.
Yeah, and if you don't have bread and milk by now, well, I think you'll survive even without it.
Yeah, people have to do without their milk sandwiches.
Well, what's been happening at the Sheriff's Department?
In the last 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office responded to 144 calls. Looks like made 12 arrests, currently have 175. Here in the jail, On incident reports, looks like Christopher Jones has reported a first-degree burglary. We have a Gina Harwell reported a break and enter and a larceny and a damage to property. We also have a report out in Bostic where our animal investigators investigating an animal cruelty case. On arrest reports, looks like Robert Brooks, 17-year-old white male, charged communicating threats, given an unsecured bond. Marie Craig, 22-year-old white female, charged with failure to appear, has a $3,000 secured bond. James Likens, 70-year-old white male, looks like he's held on a fugitive warrant. He's got a $100,000 secured bond. DeMarcus Abrams, 31-year-old black male, charged with possession with sale and deliver of cocaine and resisting a public officer. Looks like he has a $15,000 secured bond. Charity McClowry, 25-year-old white female, charged second-degree trespassing, has a $500 secured bond. And a Zachary Hunt, 30-year-old black male, charged first-degree burglary, has a $50,000 secured bond. That's what we got on the report this morning.
Sounds like it's been busy.
It has.
Well, we do appreciate the update this morning and hope you have a good weekend.
You too. Try to stay safe. See you.
All right. Thanks. Sergeant Harden on duty this morning up at the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department. It's 23 minutes past 7. Well, no matter how it comes today and tomorrow, we are definitely in for precipitation. That could be rain, that could be freezing rain, that could be some sleet, that could be some snow. You know what's going to happen to the flooring, right? Yeah, the dogs, the cats, the pets, they're going to track in all the mess from outside. And folks at Southern Carpet in Forest City realize how real life can be, and they know that your kids are going to make messes, they'll spill things, and it's important that you have flooring that stands up to the day-to-day. Take, for example, Tarkett flooring. Now, Southern Carpet in Forest City has the widest range of flooring products that are not only nice-looking, but they're also resilient. You can find out more about all of their fabulous flooring products at Southern Carpet, 1512 West Main Street in Forest City. You'll always find some excellent pricing as well. And you'll find the perfect flooring to fit not only your home, but also your budget. So why not stop by, visit with Lynn, Gerald, Clayton, Tony, take advantage of their great deals and choose from their excellent selection of Tarkett flooring. Southern Carpet, 1512 West Main Street in Forest City, directly across the road from the North State Gas Company. You can also visit their webpage. They are found at southerncarpet.net. It's southerncarpet.net. They have a Facebook page. You type in Southern Carpet Forest City, you'll go right to it. Be sure to click on the thumbs up. Give the Tonys another like. They offer expert installation, free estimates, and they're just great folks to get to know, good folks to do business with. They will remember you even after the sale. Southern Carpet, 1512 West Main Street in Forest City.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Let's see, it is 26 minutes past 7 o'clock. We have 36 degrees in Rutherfordton, And we're going to make our next call of the morning to the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department 911 Communications Center. Amanda's on dispatch this morning. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning.
Well, what do you have to report today?
Well, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Center has processed 486 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 61 for the emergency medical services, 36 for rescue, 144 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 56 for Forest City, 3 for Lake Lure, 42 for Rutherford, and 64 for Spindale. Bills Creek Fire Department had a motor vehicle crash, Forest City had a motor vehicle crash, and Sandy Mush had a motor vehicle crash, and that is all.
And we do appreciate the update this morning. Hope you have a good weekend.
You too.
Thanks, Amanda.
Bye.
That's Amanda at the 911 Communications Center. The tax man is coming this morning, 8 o'clock. We'll talk taxes with Gilbert Carmona. Gilbert talks taxes. Yep, he's back for another season. How does the government shutdown affect us filing income tax report this year? I have a pretty good idea what the answer to that is. Have a pretty good idea that our filing may be delayed and our refunds may be delayed. And, well, we'll find out from Gilbert this morning. 8 o'clock, Gilbert Talks Taxes here on WCAB. I bet there is one thing we can be guaranteed of, and that is, even with the government shutdown, we will still be expected to pay and file our taxes. That's not going to go away, is it? No. Gilbert Talks Taxes this morning at 8 o'clock here on WCAB.
JD and Marie Shook have lost their minds, or they've just got the New Year spirit. Starting now, every time you visit the Recliner Center, you can register to win a brand spanking new recliner. A recliner will be given away every month from now and just whenever. All you have to do is go to the Recliner Center and register. Now, after the drawing, the names will be tossed out, and at the beginning of the month, a new box will be ready for you to register again. So don't miss out on your chance to win a recliner from the Recliner Center. This is JD and Marie's way of saying thank you to all their friends and customers for making them a success for over 30 years. Don't forget to check out the Spring Air bedding. Doctors tell us a good night's sleep is very important for energy and stamina. Shouldn't you be resting better this year and having more energy? Spring Air bedding and a chance to win a recliner. And the Recliner Center will now be opening on Mondays and Tuesdays. Store hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. They're on Coopers Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Well, thank you, Lou. And what do you say we head up toward Lake Lure this morning and up at the Rumbling Bold Golf Beach Resort there in the Fairfield community? We'll check in with Homer. Good morning, Homer.
Good morning.
All ready for a big winter storm?
We're ready and ready to go.
I don't know what we're going to get. It could be a mix of this, that, and the other.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of snow. Temperature is going to be hovering just above freezing. It looks like we're going to get a cold rain, maybe a little freezing rain this afternoon into tonight, which it works out just fine for me. Just like the snowstorm happened Saturday night, and I just happened to be off the next 2 days, so this looks like the same kind of scenario.
You timed this out pretty good, didn't you?
So far, so good. Just hope it keeps up.
Well, we'll just have to call Steve in.
If he gets bad here, he'll definitely be here.
Yeah. Let's hope. Maybe we'll dodge the bullet this time.
Yeah, it doesn't look like too much on the radar. I may get a few icy spots, but I don't think it'll be anything like that heavy, wet 9 inches we had a few weeks ago. But we may get some type of precipitation. We do. Just be careful on the roads and, stay alert. If you don't have to travel, just stay at home is what we try to tell everybody.
Yeah, I guess the good news is, too, this is kind of a slow time for you up there at the resort, so probably not a whole lot going on.
Yeah. Every time we get through Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, things kind of slows back down until the season picks back up, maybe March or somewhere along in there. So it's just kind of our slow time. Of course, operations are still as normal. People still stay here in their timeshares, condos, and, we never close here. So it's just gets a little slower at times. Let's see. Other than that, the temperature, it's not too bad. 39 at midnight. Currently it's 40. So temperature is not cold enough to do anything right now. Kind of cloudy up here. Overcast looking skies. Not a lot going on. Few employees venturing in. Just going to be a normal day here. Probably have a few golfers out there today, I'm sure. And I think that's no other reports. That's about all I see on the books here.
All right. Well, Homer, we do appreciate the update and hope you have a good weekend.
Thank you. Y'all do the same.
Okay, thanks, Homer.
Thank you.
That's Homer. He's up at the Rumbling Bold Golf and Beach Resort near Lake Lure.
Health insurance is complicated, and with healthcare reform on the way, it's not getting any simpler. If you've got questions, we've got agents. Your local Farm Bureau insurance agent can walk you through the changes and offer you the right healthcare plan with the right benefits for you. Healthcare may be changing, but our superior service isn't. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Nearly 250,000 men and women in the U.S. will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year.
Breast cancer is unacceptable. Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
Get the first weather forecast every morning at 6:05 here on WCAB 100.9 FM 590 AM Rutherfordton.
Let's see, 27 minutes now before 8 o'clock, 36 degrees here in Rutherfordton this morning. What do you say we head over toward the Cherry Mountain Fire District, Bostic, Sunshine, Golden Valley, and if I push a couple of buttons, I will make connections this morning with Sue Price. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning.
Are y'all ready for whatever's going to happen today?
Might as well be.
Yeah, it looks like we could get a mess of this, that, everything.
Oh, well. Maybe it won't be too bad. I hope not.
Yeah, I hope the icy stuff kind of stays away.
No. Everybody just be careful. Make plans to stay in and don't get out and have a wreck. We don't need those.
No, that 911 report this morning had quite a few wrecks yesterday. I don't know why. Maybe people getting in a rush, but gosh, I hope they can make it through today and tomorrow without a whole lot of accidents.
I do too. I think people just get careless, and that's what causes it. But anyway, stay in if you can, and just take what comes. Hope it won't be too bad. I've got 37 degrees this morning, so it's not too bad out there today. But let's see, I don't have any calls from the fire department. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my church calendar for today or tomorrow. On my personal calendar today, I've got an anniversary for Alvin and Hope Tony, so I hope they'll have a real good day. And First Broad doesn't have anything. Well, let's see, they have birthdays today for Cheyenne Sadler and Judy Kimler, and nothing for tomorrow. First Broad's got an anniversary for Alvin and Hope Tony, and tomorrow a birthday for Jerry Lee Smith. So, got a few celebrating over this way, and we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. And so far, I haven't had any announcements come in, so it's just quiet over this way, I guess. Nothing much going on, but that's a good thing with the weekend we're expecting, so just stay in and be careful.
Yeah, it seems like this time of the year things really slow down quite a bit.
Yeah, getting over the holidays and everything, and now it's, I guess the next big day will be Valentine's Day.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
We got to get you back to 100% before that comes around.
I know.
Yeah, they'll be missing you if you can't. Yeah, we've got a little over a month, so that should give you plenty of time to recuperate totally.
I hope so. I went back to the wound center this week, and he dismissed me, so that was a good thing.
Well, that is great news.
I still have the people coming out to wrap my legs, and physical therapy and occupational therapy is coming out to help me get my balance back and get back to going. So hopefully I'll be able to be out and help them. But anyway, we just look forward to a good day today, and I hope you'll have one, Jay.
I hope you have a good weekend as well. Talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye. Thanks, Sue.
Mm-hmm.
That's Sue Price, Cherry Mountain Fire District. She's over near Bostic, Sunshine, and Golden Valley.
When you need daycare services for your adult loved one, Rutherford Life Services is always there for a dependable and loving environment. Rutherford Life offers a place to go during the daytime for medical monitoring, nutritional meals, and creative activities. Caregivers can go to work knowing that their loved one is in a safe and reliable place. Rutherford Life is licensed by the North Carolina Division of Aging. Rutherford Life has a full staff of trained professionals who show love and support. Call them today and let them answer any questions you may have concerning adult daycare services. 828-288-1697 or visit the facility at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone?
Do flowers have best friends?
I don't know. Hey, look.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Today's hits and yesterday's memories, WCAB Rutherfordton.
Coming up later this morning, we have University of North Carolina Tar Heels college basketball action on the radio. 10:30, countdown to tip-off. Tip-off today at 12 noon. It's another ACC conference game. Tar Heels up against Louisville. Or Louisville. Folks up there all say Louisville. So I think that's a correct pronunciation. So regardless, hopefully the Tar Heels win today. Tar Heels, Louisville, coming up at 12 noon. And coming up momentarily, we'll check in with a big Tar Heels fan. Brenda Kelly is coming up next here on the Morning Report.
Save-A-Lot Grocery, White Oak Plaza, Spindale has hundreds of super low prices on most of your favorite name brand items. They have 500 plus prices lowered across the entire store. Stock up on fresh meats, produce, frozen foods, snack foods, and your favorite beverages and pastries. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 9, Sunday, 10 to 8. Save-A-Lot Grocery, White Oak Plaza, Spindale.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Here she is, number one Tar Heels fan herself from Union Mills. It's Brenda Kelly. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning. How are you? I hadn't watched Kentucky play or Louisville or whatever, but I hope we win today. I don't know how their players are.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Louisville. I have not seen them play. I watched our game with North Carolina State on Tuesday night. I didn't think that we played all that great, but we did play well enough to win.
Well, anytime they got that, I believe he's a freshman, a Johnson, that can hit them three-pointers pretty good.
Yep, and that helps a whole bunch.
Oh, yeah. It don't matter. He can just throw it in there, so that's good. But I watched that too. Well, I listened to it, and then I run in there and watch it on TV. But I just hope they win today. I know, I don't know how many in a row they've won. I know at least 3.
Yeah, it's been several now, wins in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's good. So I hope this ain't the day that they lose, but eventually they will. So
now let's not say that.
Well, that's just using common sense. I hope they win all of them. It would just tickle me to death that they'd get up and be number one and not Duke.
I tell you what, that Duke team looks really, really good this year.
Yeah. But it's just win, draw, or lose.
Yep, I still bleed Carolina blue.
That's exactly right. And the skies, when it's not cloudy and a day like today where we don't know what to expect, they will be Carolina blue. They won't be Duke blue, so that's good. But let's see, I've got 32 degrees on the front porch. Birthdays today, I've got Jessica Connor, Tanner Woody, Gladys Campbell, anniversary, Sharon and Tommy Daddle. And tomorrow on the 13th, we've got Alicia Gaddy Vega, Samantha Sheehan Bray, Layla Gaddy, and Joshua Williamson, and Martha Thomason. On Round Hill today, we've got Reba Simpson, and tomorrow I don't have any. So we hope all these people have a great old big day on their special day. And in ways of announcements, we got a buffet breakfast going on as we speak. It started at 7 and it'll go to 10 a.m. Adults is $6, kids 6 to 12, $3, 6 and under free. It's all you can eat: sausage, bacon, liver mush, gravy, and biscuits, and all the trimmings. And proceeds go to help rebuild the old Gilkey School. And Chad Medford called me yesterday and asked me would I announce this. It's a craft show, and it's a Mary Morganton Christmas, November the 1st and 2nd, 2019. Morganton Recreation Center. Booth fee for both days is $100. For information, call Angie Medford at 828-748-1311. And this is put on by Chad Medford. And he said the reason he's announcing that so early, these craft people have to do stuff way ahead of time so they know where they're going and what they're doing. And other than that, I don't have nothing.
All right. Well, let's wait and see what happens today.
I'm telling you, it's a wait-and-see day. That's exactly right.
Hey, it's a good day to stay inside, listen to the Tar Heels game, watch the Tar Heels game, and not have to worry about what's going on outside.
And I decided today was a good day to put on a pot of mixed beans with a ham hock in it, so I done got them on cooking.
Oh, you're already up and cooking.
Oh, yeah, always.
Well, Brenda,
but you have a good weekend.
You do the same. I'll talk to you again real soon.
Okay, catch you later.
Okay, thanks, Brenda. That's Brenda Kelly reporting in this morning from up in Union Mills. One more call to make. Luther Sweet Thing Gillikin on the way next from Ellenboro.
Have you heard the 3 big lies about Medicaid eligibility? First, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your house. That's not true. Second, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. That's not true. And third, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. That's not true. Please call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm for a free consultation and learn the truth about Medicaid and eligibility and nursing home care in North Carolina. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify and not lose everything you own. Call the Arledge Law Firm today at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton. Again, that's 287-3338.
Nearly 250,000 men and women in the U.S. will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year.
Breast cancer is unacceptable.
Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
As promised, we make one more call. We check in with Ellenboro's own Sweet Thing, Luther Gillikin. Good morning, Luther.
Good morning. Just here waiting on sunshine.
You're going to be waiting until Tuesday.
Oh. Well, hey, I can manage part of that. Sleep part, wake up part, sleep some more. But hey, it's a good day there. Though it is a rather blurry day out there. It's sort of cloudy. Well, it is plumb cloudy. Clouds are hanging low. Get ready to drop something. Either snow, sleet, rain, or whatever. I hope it's rain down this part of the county. But
Yep.
whatever comes, we'll take it. We'll just, as long as power stays on, well, I have heat, power doesn't stay on.
Looks like we could get a little bit of everything this weekend.
Yeah, probably will. Wake up in the morning, ground be covered in ice. I think they put a brine on bypass yesterday. They can get ready. They may get on the other secondary road at 74 business today. I don't know. Well, they may have got it yesterday. I don't know. But nothing going on there. Everybody just laying back, enjoying life, doing nothing. And just waiting on to see what happens. Fire department, they had one medical call. They've been quiet, not going on with them. Just nothing going on anywhere down here this morning. But we always happy birthday today to Mikayla Murray's having one, and Victor Darfield, he's having one, and Jim and Jenny Huffsticker, they're having a wedding anniversary today. And tomorrow, Roxanne Hawkins is having a birthday, so hope these people have a great day and enjoy their day. Nothing else going on down here. You have a great day up there. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, Luther, have a good weekend.
I'm going to have a good weekend. You take care.
That's Luther Sweet Thing Gillikin reporting in this morning from Ellenboro. It is time for birthdays, anniversaries. I will open up the telephone lines at 287-3356, 287-3356. If you or somebody you know is celebrating a birthday or an anniversary this weekend, today or tomorrow, I'd like to find out about it so that I can broadcast it and let everybody know about it. One of our lucky callers, I'll select a name at random. That person will win a $5 gift certificate, good at the Mi Pueblito Mexican restaurants. Lines are open, 287-3356. today is Saturday, January 12th. I have a number of folks celebrating birthdays and anniversaries this weekend. On the Gilkey-Ruatan calendar, we have Jessica Connor, also Tanner Woody, Gladys Campbell, and a wedding anniversary today for Sharon and Tommy Dowdle. And then tomorrow on the Gilkey calendar, we have Alicia Vega, also looks like Samantha Bray, Layla Gaddy, and Joshua Williamson celebrating birthdays tomorrow. Have a number of calls that have come into the radio station this morning. Celebrating in Rutherfordton today, happy birthday to Daniel McGuinn. Celebrating tomorrow in Rutherfordton, Martha Thomason. Celebrating a wedding anniversary today over in Forest City, it is Coach Randy Engel, his wife Rebecca, Petey. Engel's celebrating wedding anniversary. Tomorrow, he turns 5 years old in Caroline. Happy birthday to Luke Upton. Celebrating over in the Piney Knob community today, Gladys Campbell. And celebrating tomorrow in Forest City, Ernest Yelton. And also, oh my, turning another year older tomorrow in Sandy Mush, Jimmy Ray Lowry. So happy birthday to everybody celebrating this weekend. Momentarily, we'll find out who is going to get the $5 gift certificate good at the Mi Pueblito Mexican Restaurants. 2 locations here in Rutherford County. Stay tuned, the winner is coming up.
Today's hits and yesterday's memories, WCAB Rutherfordton.
And I reach over, I need to select a name at random. It looks like it is going to be Martha Thomason. Martha Thomason, let's see, she is celebrating tomorrow, lives in Rutherfordton. Martha, congratulations. You have won the $5 gift certificate good at Mi Pueblito.
Partial government shutdown. Miami International Airport is closing a terminal this weekend because security screeners have been calling in sick at twice the airport's normal rate. CBS News transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve is there.
I'm Chris Van Cleve at Miami International Airport, where this afternoon the airport has decided to close one of its concourses to free up TSA officers to go to busier checkpoints. They're going to do this every afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It'll impact about a dozen flights.
While former President Barack Obama was under fire from congressional Republicans for his use of executive powers, things have changed now that it's President Donald Trump. Now, with Trump proposing a dramatic end run around Congress to build his promised border wall with Mexico, many Republicans are uneasily cheering him on. It shows the extent to which the party is willing to yield on the constitutional separation of powers to steer clear of confronting this White House. A Cumberland County man is recovering in the hospital after he says his cousin's dog Rocket ferociously attacked him. Clifford Locklear tells WTVD the dog bit 2 of his fingers off, broke several other fingers, and bit his leg.
I've lost 2 fingers on this hand. I've got a cut in my thigh, and there's cuts all over. The dog was trying to kill me. No doubt in my mind.
Cumberland County Animal Control says the dog had bit another family member on a separate occasion. It was therefore declared a public threat and was euthanized Thursday morning. Newly released search warrants are tying a Wake County home to at least 3 suspicious deaths, all in the last year. 2 of the deaths at the home on Bawcatcher Lane, west of Zebulon, are believed to be heroin overdoses. The most recent one happened on October 9th. The search warrant said homeowner Kenneth Cox told police that Teresa Hedgepeth injected what was believed to be heroin and then collapsed. Hedgepeth, who was 50 years old, was pronounced dead at the scene. You're listening to NCN News.
State lawmakers are cranking up a new legislative session. Everything's on the table. The budget, education, transportation, regulation. What are they doing, and how is it affecting you, your family, your business, your wallet? Carolina Journal helps you find answers. Available each month as a free newspaper, every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your #1 source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
Where are the leaders of tomorrow shaped and molded? They're shaped on the courts, fields, mats, and tracks of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. The NCHSAA is our 417-member schools, impacting communities across the state of North Carolina. From Murphy to Manteo, the NCHSAA is coaches, administrators, and officials working tirelessly to invest in the next generation of leaders for our great state. Who are we? We are high school. We are the NCHSAA.
Things will be looking up for some of England's criminals, as CBS's Larry Miller explains.
England is planning to scrap jail sentences of less than 6 months, according to the government's prisons minister. He says it ruins lives, doesn't stop reoffending, and that the move would reduce pressure on overcrowded facilities. Prison reform advocate Frances Crook agrees.
It's completely pointless to dump them in a disgusting, smelly cell where they will just lie on a bunk for 3 months and then dump them back on the streets.
Burglars and shoplifters would be among the 30,000 offenders a year spared jail. Larry Miller, CBS News, London.
A U.S. House committee is signaling that Congress may ultimately resolve the nation's last undecided congressional race. The head of the House Administration Committee on Friday asked North Carolina elections officials to preserve all original notes, recordings, or documents used in investigating allegations of ballot fraud in the state's 9th district. Dozens of those federal government workers gathered Friday in front of the Terry Sanford Federal Courthouse in Raleigh to protest the partial government shutdown that is the longest in U.S. history. Allison Ames, a recent UNC graduate who is a researcher for the EPA, told WCVD she's been getting a little stir-crazy staying at home without work.
I feel like I am running out of options. I mean, I applied for unemployment benefit. My student loans kicked in December, so that's stressful, having that added burden. Someone just needs to cave, and it just seems like it's ideological rather than what's actually best for the country at this point.
He used to drop to a knee after his exploits on the football field, but this time when Tim Tebow got on one knee, it was to propose. The ex-Denver Broncos and University of Florida quarterback Tim Tebow is engaged. The Heisman Trophy winner announced his engagement to Demi Lee Nell Peters on Instagram. She's a South African native and the 2017 Miss Universe. Alyssa
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. It's day 22 of the partial government shutdown, and there's no end in sight. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers furloughed or working without pay missed their first paycheck of the year. President Trump at the White House on a roundtable Friday called for Democrats to come back to vote on border wall funding and holding off, he says, on another option for now. ABC's Lana Zach is at the Capitol.
Several prominent Republicans have urged the president publicly not to use emergency disaster relief funds or military funds to build the wall. But ultimately, it is unclear at this point whether the president will heed their advice or if he'll move forward. It sounded like he was moving away a little bit in his rhetoric from that option, but still he maintains that he has every right to do so.
No scheduled talks today. Most lawmakers are home in their districts for the weekend. The president is responding to reports in the New York Times that the FBI opened an investigation after he took office into whether he was a national security threat following the firing of FBI Director James Comey. The report says a counterintelligence investigation tried to determine if the president was knowingly or not working on behalf of Russia and against American interests.
This new report suggests that the FBI was concerned that the president fired Comey on behalf of the Russians. Now, the president has just responded in a tweet to all of this saying, wow, just learned in the failing New York Times that the corrupt former leaders of the FBI, almost all fired or forced to leave the agency for some bad reasons, opened up an investigation on me for no reason and with no proof after I fired Lion James Comey, a total sleaze.
ABC's Tara Palmieri reporting from the White House. In Paris this morning, at least 4 people now confirmed dead, including 2 firefighters and nearly 36 injured following an explosion. Police say it appears a gas leak is the cause. You're listening to ABC News.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, BABBEL.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
The U.S., along with coalition forces, dropped the highest number of aerial bombs against ISIS in Syria this past November than during any month this year. Airstrike numbers also way up in Afghanistan. ABC's Elizabeth McLaughlin reports from the Pentagon.
New data published by the U.S. Air Force showing a record 1,424 weapons released in the month before President Trump made his surprise announcement that he was withdrawing U.S. troops from Syria. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, U.S. aircraft have dropped more bombs under the Trump administration than during any year under President Obama. The total number of weapons released in 2018 is now greater than the 3 previous years combined. Elizabeth McLaughlin, ABC News, The Pentagon.
Another Democrat throwing her hat into the ring. ABC's Dave Packer tells us it is shaping up to be a crowded field already.
The latest Democrat to announce her candidacy for president in 2020, Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, appearing on CNN.
I have decided to run and will be making a formal announcement within the next week.
The 37-year-old Iraq War veteran is the first Hindu elected to Congress and the first member born in the U.S. territory of American Samoa. It comes after 2 Democratic senators, California's Kamala Harris and Massachusetts' Elizabeth Warren, have strongly indicated that they'll run in 2020. Dave Packer, ABC News.
A major winter storm stretching from Colorado to the mid-Atlantic states could bring up to a foot of snow in some areas of the Midwest. This is ABC News.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Good morning and happy Saturday. We're mainly dry throughout the day today with cloudy skies, a 20% chance of seeing a flurry, but high temperatures today climb into the lower 40s. So not expecting any impacts from that, but by tonight, we do have the chance of a brief period of wintry mix. It should be mainly rain overnight and into early tomorrow. Lows tonight in the low to mid 30s and highs tomorrow climb into the upper 30s. Rain likely early, drying out late. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Today's hits and yesterday's memories, WCAB Rutherfordton.
Good morning, everyone. That is the International Morse Code Signal. That marks the beginning of my program, Gilbert Talks Taxes, because, as we all know, taxation with representation has not been such a good idea either. Good morning. I'm Gilbert Carmona. I am an enrolled agent. An enrolled agent is a person enrolled with the IRS to represent taxpayers, to do tax returns, to basically help you with any tax problem that you're having. I can be reached at 828-289-9300. That is my office number. I have an office here at 113 Whitesides Road, Rutherfordton, North Carolina, 28139. I have another office in Tryon, 226 South Trade Street, right off the beautiful historic downtown Tryon in the Art Deco building there. You can, Tryon people, you can call the same number, 828-289-9300. You can send me an email, gilbert@gilbertcarmona.com. And the program is Gilbert Talks Taxes. Gilbert talks a lot of things. Talks about a lot of things. There's a lot going on this week. The IRS is, while the IRS is part of the government shutdown, they are officially been declared non-essential personnel. which many would argue they're always non-essential personnel, but in this case, they are non-essential personnel. During the last shutdown, they were deemed essential personnel because it happened during tax season. Now, while technically tax season has not begun, corporate filings started last week. We were able to start filing corporate tax returns on the 8th of January, and really that's the 8th is when we sent them to the server. I believe the IRS didn't start accepting those till the 10th or the 11th. Don't quote me on that. There was a little lag in there of a day or two, but we started uploading those corporate returns on the 8th. Now they announced day before yesterday, IRS announcement. We have a starting day for individual 1040 tax filings, which is really what most people care about. When we talk about tax returns, people don't consider corporate, partnership, not-for-profit, trust estates. They just want to hear about that 1040, and they want to hear about their refund. Those are the two things they want to hear about. So we have a start date. They can be e-filed January 28th. 28th, yes, very late this year. Very late. In light of everything going on, I expected that. I expected it to be the last day of the year within their cycle. There's a lot of computer programming that goes on there. There's a lot of computer programming that goes on, period, with the IRS. Now, what are they doing during the shutdown? Okay, they are processing tax returns, whether they're electronically filed or they're paper filed. They are being processed. Okay, I've been talking about this over the weeks, but it's changing. So let me change it. They are processing disaster relief transcripts. That is, if you are in a disaster zone, officially declared FEMA, officially declared disaster zone, there are certain benefits and certain entitlements that you get. One of the biggest ones is extended tax filings with no penalty, which if you're in a zone and your tax return was due October 15th, and with those storms that we had, there is no way you were going to get those done. The penalty, let's say you filed it now, the penalty could be, depending on what you have going on, the penalty could be thousands and thousands of dollars. So this is a big deal. So they are processing disaster relief transcripts, and they are designing and printing tax forms. Yes, they are. That is essential. And of course, most essential of anything, they are accepting payments. You can pay them. Their online tool, the ACH to direct pay tools are working. I know because we've made some payments for some clients. We've made estimated tax payments. We've made end of the year payments. So those are working and everything is fine there. And that money is coming out of the bank. So I can verify that. What they are now, last week I said they were not issuing tax refunds, and they weren't. This week they announced that they will be issuing tax refunds. Tax refunds. I'd like to get some clarification, but I can't speak with anyone because one of the things that they're not doing is answering the phone. They're still not answering the phone. So, the general IRS number is the 800-829-1040 number. Now, as a practitioner, I have a special number I call as an enrolled agent. Enrolled agents, CPAs, and tax attorneys can also do this. Actuarials, different people that share privilege can call a practitioner number. That they're not answering that number. Collections, they're not. None of the main numbers we call are being answered. So, and actually, I've tried to fax a few things over to the CAF unit, and the fax machine is down. So not only are they not answering the phone, they're not answering their fax machine, which is all digital now. It's a computer. It's not an actual fax line. Because after 21 days of being shut down, there would be a stack of paper at the bottom of that fax machine about yay high. They are issuing tax refunds. I'd like to know if these tax refunds are only for new tax returns, the ones we file now, or those of us that have issues from prior years. Will they be issuing those too? Because I have several clients that I've been working cases. Cases have been resolved. I spoke about the one with my one client, over $10,000, and it was resolved the week before December. Spoke with the agent the Thursday before the holiday break, and she said, oh, no, it's good to go. We're finished. I just don't know. I said, great, and he's going to get his check, and went over the amount with interest. And she said, I just don't know when they're going to mail it. She said, we don't know when we're coming back to work. But now they are going to issue tax refunds for this year. That we do know, which is major, because the last time they had a shutdown this was during the Obama administration. The IRS was requested by the Obama administration. I did not say Obama. People are going to say, you said Obama. No, the Obama administration asked the IRS not to issue refunds. This was in 2011. And they did not. The IRS didn't issue the refunds. They've since gone back and looked at tax law, and they believe that they must issue those refunds, because that money, that refund money, is technically your money. That money does not belong to the federal government, and it is not coming out of this pool of money that's being used to run the government. So it's like you have a budget and you got a lot of little pockets you're putting your money in. This money's in a pocket that's over here. Okay? They're fighting about the pocket that's over there. So the IRS determined that that money is not part of this, and they will be issuing refunds. That just happened this week. They are not processing amended returns, which again is very important, because this time of the year is when we catch mistakes from last year. I mean, it's the truth. Whether somebody comes to me from another preparer, which I've got one, and I looked at it, and I've got some issues. I've got a lady who did her own taxes, brought me her tax return, said, could you look this over? And, I found several issues. And actually, she cheated herself. She's got quite a bit of money coming back. They're not processing those amended returns. No. So, but they will. They're going to get back in here. And they're not conducting audits and examinations of returns. Oh, yay. They're not doing that. But when they reopen, they're going to get right on those right away. So, and the backlog is going to be huge, because you've got the end of the year processes that go on and the upcoming year processes that go on. But we do have so the good news is we do have a filing date. January 28th, we're going to be starting. Now, what does that mean for most people? Okay, I can actually file your tax return now, today. We've got the software, it's up and running. W-2s started coming out yesterday. We are almost done with all the clients that I do W-2s for. There's a handful left. We have to just audit the financials and make sure everything's right. But most of them are done. So we've got most of our W-2s out. So those people are getting those W-2s already. And we've already been getting phone calls and making appointments. So they have them. We can file your tax return, no problem. What's going to happen is the tax return is going to sit on a server somewhere. The IRS is not going to receive that tax return until January 28th. I don't care if you file it today. Your refund isn't coming any faster. And please believe me. Please believe me, because I'm getting phone calls. I need to get my tax return done so I can get my refund. Well, and they always talk real fast when they're going to get the refund faster. I need my well, you're not going to get it any faster. Oh, no, they told me over here that was. I said, well, then go over there and let them do it, because you're not going to get any faster. The other thing is, by law, an ERO, a person that submits tax returns, which is what I am. I prepare the tax return and I submit it. I don't send it to another person. I submit it myself directly to the IRS. I am an ERO. We must have a W-2 before we can submit that tax return. We cannot use your last pay check stub. Why? because there is a lot of missing information on that last check stub, pay stub, whatever you call it. Voucher is really what they're called. There is a lot of missing information, number one. Number two, there are errors on there. It hasn't been reconciled. Now, the basic information will be right, the withholding and Medicare, Medicaid, that's fine. I'm sorry, Medicare and Social Security. But there's other things too, like contributions, 401k, IRA. Well, I don't have any of that. Well, I don't care. You still cannot file without your W-2. So just be patient and wait, because nothing's going to happen till January 28th. Okay, now, with that said, yes, they are going to hold tax returns that have earned income tax credit and child tax credit for extra review. Let me repeat that. They are going to hold tax returns that have earned income tax credit and child tax credit for extra review. They're looking for fraud, because those are the two biggest credits that people fraud. Those are the ones you get for having dependent children. Okay, so those are being held. They will not be reviewed until February 15th. The reason is that most people that commit fraud try to get those in right away, because the way the system is currently set up, notice I said currently, it's going to change. When, we don't know, but it has to change. The way the system is currently set up, the first tax return that gets in locks those Social Security numbers down. So the second tax return that comes in will get rejected. So the scammers and the hackers, which this has now been elevated to organized crime level. This is no longer a person sitting in their mother's basement doing this for some extra money. You know, these scams. This is now professional. They're using professional software. They're very sophisticated. So they get it in there right away, and then the people come, the second people come and do it, the real people come and do it, because they're getting all their documents together. They're waiting for their W-2s, they're waiting for their 1099s, they're waiting for their whatever, all their little things that they got there, their medical vouchers, they have Obamacare or ACA, they're waiting for all that to get all that. The scammers just make all that stuff up and get it in there. So what they're going to do is they've added an extra layer of protection. They're going to be reviewing every one of those. Any discrepancies will lock that refund down. So they're going to review those February 15th. They will not release any of those refunds till February 28th. Now, last year some trickled early, and because they're testing the system, they'll do a few, and the ones that scrub, meaning the ones that are obviously legitimate right away, those they'll release right away. But still, they're not going to look at them until February 15th. So there's nothing you're going to do to move that. And I think that's going to be the course going forward every year. And I really think they're slowly going to get it, so they're going to hold them even longer. Many states are also doing that. It's been effective. They have saved a lot of money. They've caught a lot of fraud. It's really put the brakes on a lot of this. So they are doing that again this year. And I'm going to, before we take our first break, I'm getting a lot of phone calls and a lot of questions. There is some confusion about, confusion with the tax code. Jay, my engineer this morning, Jay, I'm sorry, I didn't welcome you this morning. I got right into it. It's a very serious tax year. You can feel it. There's a lot going on, and I wanted to stay focused here and not talk about Trump yet. But my engineer this morning, Jay, good morning. I'm so glad to have you here. Jay and I were having a couple of discussions. I think I'm going to share with the people quickly when we get back what we were talking about. But those of you listening or watching, actually, www.wcab59.com, good morning. Todd's done a wonderful job with this. It looks great. And I know you get some of the credit too, Jay. I know. You get some of the credit too. It looks great, and we just welcome everybody. And those of you that stopped by the studio this morning to talk to me, and those of you that have contacted me this week, it's been great. Welcome all of you, and thank you for listening. Let me talk about the child tax credit. There's been some confusion about this. I know I'm past my break time, but that's okay. We'll just take a lot of them at the end. So, the child tax credit for a qualifying child. I'm not going to get into the qualifiers. Okay, you can find those online. You can find those. Those are obvious, the qualifiers. And I can get into those too, but I'm not going to do that today. A qualifying child. You're the qualifying person that can claim the qualified child. The credit is $2,000. Last year it was $1,000. It has doubled. Okay, but you're only going to get as a credit, meaning that can become cash to you, that can become your refund, $1,400 of that $2,000. Okay, and this is where the confusion comes in. The other $600 goes to reduce your tax. So let's say you owe tax of, you have one child, okay, do your tax return, you qualify to get the child tax credit, you owe in taxes $600. So last year, what would have happened is you owe the $600, you have that child tax credit of $1,000. The first $600 of that child tax credit wipes out that $600 tax, and you get $400. Okay, the way they're doing it this year is $600 per child, $600 per qualifying child goes to wipe that tax down. Okay, and then you get, and then the $1,400 comes as a credit. Okay, overall it appears to be a better deal. It appears to be a better situation from what we're seeing early on. I'll tell you in 2 or 3 weeks if it is or not, when we actually start seeing it in practice and start getting a broad spectrum of tax returns and see what's actually going on. But it appears to be a good thing. And the threshold to claim it has come way down. So you can be earning as little as $2,500 to claim this credit. The threshold used to be much higher. So this is good. Now, it does phase out at $200,000. Okay, it begins to phase out actually at $200,000, $400,000 for married filing jointly. So this is a credit that pretty much most people are going to get that have children younger than 17 in the year, the age in the tax year. So what age were they in 2018? Because this is the 2018 tax return. So there's a lot of things in there that can be confusing. There's a lot of moving parts to this credit. And when you get into the qualifier, that's a whole other thing. But the qualifier is a qualifier for the child being a dependent, not just the credit. It's a dependent, period. That's a whole other conversation. Earned income tax credit, that's pretty much the same rules. Nothing's changed there. So again, if you have this child tax credit, you have that earned income tax credit, your tax return will be held for review until February 15th. Tax return will not be issued until February 28th. Let's go ahead and take that first break. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9.
As we get ready for this year's tax season, there's one thought on everyone's mind. Will Gilbert's hair look fabulous this year? Oh, yes, it will. How can I say that? Because I go to Robin Saunders at RSL Salon. Whether it's a good haircut, a pedicure, or a manicure, you can count on RSL Salon. Call Robin at 828-289-9110 because everyone deserves to look fabulous.
Hi there, this is Kimberly, and I'm here to tell you about Peterson's Auto Service and Detail Shop. As a woman, I'm often apprehensive about taking my car to a dirty service garage. But you can be assured that Peterson's, located at 478 Butler Road, Forest City, has an incredibly clean and safe environment where you get high-quality service at a great price. Peterson's was voted Rutherford County's best auto service 3 years in a row. So take your car to Peterson's for brakes, oil change, North Carolina inspection, tire rotation, headlight lens restoration, scratch removal, and meticulous auto detailing. That's Peterson's at 478 Butler Road, Forest City. You can call him for an appointment at 245-8889.
We are back. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB. Again, if you need me, my telephone number is 828-289-9300. You can call the station here. Jay will be more than happy to take a question if you have a question for me. I'll try to answer it on the air. If not, I will come back next week and talk about it. So, there's so many questions, so much to talk about. I really have to take a step back and say the reason I started doing this program, and it's hard to believe, I started this in 2014. I did it because I like small business. I like to help small business. I believe small business is the backbone of America. Most people, I've heard numbers from 70 to 80% of most Americans work for small business, work for a small business. I mean, we used to call it the Ma-Pa shop. The Ma-Pa shop is not dead. It is still very much alive. And many people work for a Ma-Pa shop and don't even realize it. I've had somebody will say, I work at McDonald's. Really, which McDonald's do you work at? And they tell me, I say, well, really, I happen to know the owner of that McDonald's, and really, you don't work for McDonald's. You work for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who happen to own that McDonald's franchise. I had this conversation. I work at Starbucks. Oh, really? Because I didn't think there were too many corporate stores around here. So really, I work over. Well, no, you don't work for Starbucks. You work for Bill and Tammy. I know them. Oh, yeah, they're my bosses. No, they're the owners of the business you work at. And a lot of people don't realize that is who you work for. You work for a Ma-Pa operation. Yeah, they may be the Sears home stores. They are Ma-Pa operations. Well, I bought my washer and dryer at one and had a wonderful experience. They were great people. Really took care of me. They were just fantastic people. The opposite of dealing with the big corporate America. They cared about my schedule, and it was a fantastic experience. I'd recommend them to anybody. Time to get a new washer and dryer, and decided to go over there because we'd had one before and it worked out good. Got 15 years out of it. Said, well, let's go back. And but did I buy it from Sears? No, I did not buy it from Sears. I bought it from, Tammy and Bob, who own that. That is a Ma-Pa operation. The delivery men that came work for them. They don't work for Sears. The salesman in the showroom floor works for them, not for Sears. So 70 to 80%, and really, I think those numbers, like everything else, are skewed. I haven't looked at the data close up. It's on the Census Bureau. I haven't looked at it, but I would say it's even higher than that. SBA considers a small business $14 million. That's ridiculous. $14 million? $14 million is a very large business with many employees, and you're way beyond the Ma-Pa. 14 million, but they consider that small business, and SBA really is not about helping small business. So I started the program because I really I didn't feel small business was getting a lot of good advice. They were getting a lot of biased advice from news sources and media sources, and I found that very few practitioners were actually advising small business. Not that the practitioners aren't good or capable or competent. A lot of the practitioners just haven't been out there in the trenches. I have worked for multiple corporations. I've worked for many small operators. So I've seen both worlds, and I know what it's like to, you're praying to God that you're going to make payroll. I know that feeling. I know what it's like to stay awake because you don't know that your biggest customer is going to be able to pay you because you got some bad news about his financial standing, which is going to affect your financial standing. So I really started the program wanting to help people, to give advice to people, free advice, no strings attached. It's like the client, I've got a new client, him and his wife came last week. We had a great meeting, and he said when he called me 2 weeks ago, I returned his phone call, and he said, "You gave me more free advice on that phone call than I've gotten from my accountant, tax preparer in all the years I've been using him. Practical advice that I could really use." And those of you that took my advice the couple of weeks before the end of the year and you've gotten back to me and told me, you've saved a lot of money. And that's what it's all about. So I said all that to say I want to use this little bit of time we have to focus on things that are really important to you and to give you advice that you need. So please, don't hesitate to give me a call. Tell me what it is you're having a problem with. Send me an email, gilbert@gilbertcarmona.com. Send me an email. Tell me what you're having a problem with, what you don't understand, what you would like to do better, what tax issues worry you. Typically with small business, it's things like depreciation, expenses. Expenses is the big one because it's a confusing mess, and deliberately so. There's a congressman. I told myself, note to self, don't go down the political rabbit hole. But how can you not? Because this is so politically intertwined. But a congressman passed a bill that every president has to submit the last 10 years' tax returns. And I was looking at this congressman, looking at a picture of him standing there holding his bill, thinking, would you even know what to do with that tax return? Would you even understand that tax return? Because I heard some of the things that were said about other tax returns, politicians that have released tax returns. They don't know. They don't understand. They're going to say what they want to say to get their agenda. So that's a ridiculous notion because really it doesn't say anything. It really doesn't. It just documents certain activities. But what do those activities mean? So small business has a lot of challenges with expenses. Even recognition of revenue needs to be looked at. What is revenue? What is income? It's not always what you think it is. And the timing of this income. When do you post it when you earned it? Do you post it when you actually physically get the money? What if you actually physically never get the money? What if the money is in lieu of other things? So there's a lot here, but please let me know. Let me know, small business people. I'm very, very interested in what you're doing. I'm very interested in your businesses, and everything I try to do is to help you, to try to get to help you. So it's very important that I get some feedback, because I don't want to spend as much as everybody enjoyed me talking about Trump, because that seems to be all the texts I get are about Trump. As even the person that was here, Jay, what did he say? That's what he wanted. Somebody came by to encourage me and ask some questions. Wanted me, but that's what they want to hear, because that's what we see the impact. But the other thing I want to say to small business owners and people in general. Now, for most people, okay, this tax event, this thing we call tax season, they have a job. They get a couple of W-2s, maybe some 1099s. They have some children, so they're going to get a credit. They do this tax return. They either do it themselves or they go ahead and pay somebody, pay a professional. Depending on the level of service you want and the amount of complexity, you're going to, you may do it yourself, or you may hire somebody like me. You may hire an unregistered tax preparer, just a simple tax preparer that's just going to fill in the blanks for you and not mess it up too bad. You're going to go that route, or you're going to go to an enrolled agent, or you're going to go to a CPA, you're going to go to a tax attorney that does tax preparation. Okay, so whatever you do in there, you're going to get your refund, and that's it. And do whatever with that refund. Put new tires on the truck, and that's it. Whatever. Pay some bills and wait till next year. But other people that have businesses or have investments, these tax returns are a fountain of information. You like that fountain of information? I'm going to use that. It really is. Really, there's a lot in there. There's a lot you can do. There's a lot of planning going forward you can do with it. There's a reason. Those of you know, when you come, I give you a complete printout, which is like 100 and some pages. Depending on the complexity of it, it would be 50, 60 pages. People go, what is this? Your tax return. They go, really? Because usually all they see is 2 or 3 pages that you sign and that have your refund information on it, because that's what they care about. Where's my refund? Well, with the new tax form, the new smaller tax form, we have 6 more pages on there, because it is the new smaller tax form. So we have 6 more pages on it. So it's going to be 6 pages bigger. But there's information in there. And if your tax preparer, your advisor, the people you're working with are not using that tax return to advise you, and they're not even looking at it, if it's something that you've got just sitting there somewhere and it's not even at least being reviewed, you're wasting money, because you paid to have this tax return prepared, and you're wasting time, because they're not really taking advantage of this. I know that's the case when I get a new client and they say, we go over what I'm going to need for the meeting, the initial meeting, we're just going to talk, and I say, do you have last year's tax return? And there's that silence, and I get, when I hear that, I know they got that thing, put it somewhere, and never looked at it again. Potentially a big mistake, in the sense of, I'm talking about business people now, people with more complicated tax returns. There's things there. So that's the kind of information I want to know, that you need to know, to give to you. I'm going to talk about tax organizers real quick. A lot of people mail out tax organizers. You do your own, right? You do your own tax return. We've talked about this. You do your own tax return, which I support that. I'm all about that. I think that's one of the greatest things in this country, that you can do your own tax return. By the way, I think that's wonderful that you can. I know that there are some people that it gets to a point where it's ridiculous. You cannot. When you're at that level, don't even try. It's been proven. The studies have been done. But there's a level. Again, the person that, one job, one W-2, you can free file on the IRS's website. That is a thing. There's an IRS. You can go to irs.gov, G-O-V. Don't go to any other website, or you're going to give your information away. You go to irs.gov, and they have a free file tool. It used to be you could use the phone, remember? You could pick up the phone. Oh, yeah, you could pick up the phone, and using your keypad. Now, it was only for 1040 EZs. It had to be an EZ, just 1 or 2, 3 W-2s, and nothing else. You had some dependents. You put in name, social security, date of birth. You had some dependents, and that was it. 1040As. It would accommodate 1040As, too, if they were basic. But they have an online tool that's free, so you can do that. So if you're gonna get somebody, and I'm just gonna keep it real simple. I don't want this to turn into a commercial for me, but you're already listening to me, right? so that's what it is. But just a review of the thing. Is important. There's a lot of information there. So the tax organizer. Some people mail a tax organizer to everybody, and you look at it, and there's all of last year's data, and it's to remind you what you had last year, and you fill in what you have this year, and you mail it back or drop it off or fax it, email it, whatever, to your tax preparer. Well, you just did your own tax return. Yeah. Jay goes, yeah. Jay's looking at me like, yeah, you just did your tax return. I have a CPA friend of mine, because I had this conversation. I ask what people specifically do about this. And my CPA friend said, I don't do it anymore. I said, well, I'm not doing it either unless they ask me. If you ask me and it is a tool you use, I send it to you. Otherwise, I'm not just sending it. And there's a reason why. I'm going to get to it in a minute. He said, a man called him and said, you're fired. And my CPA friend said, why? He said, well, I'll just do my own tax return. What do I need this for? He said, you're fired. Thank you. And he thought the guy was kidding. The guy never showed up. Yeah. He said, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't do it because I take the tax interview and that time together, that we call it that FaceTime together, where you're in my office and we're together, as time for me to ask some questions, look for those deductions, look for those, especially with the small business owners, really with anybody. Especially if you have investments, we can have those conversations, and it's that time to discuss. I'm not going to get that from a form you filled out. I'm not a data entry person. You could have done that yourself. I'm an advisor. I'm an enrolled agent. I'm enrolled, meaning I understand tax code and how that I can apply that tax code to help you. That's what it's about. Okay, and so that's where I want to keep the program going, and I want to focus on those things. So please give me a call. Now you can call here at the studio again. You can call 828-287-33. I'm going to say it wrong. 56. Yeah, I don't say it enough. You can call here, talk to Jay. Everybody knows the number. They call you all the time. So you can call here. Jay will take a message. You get it to me, but feel free to reach out to me. And I want to do it that way. Now, speaking of the e-file, IRS free file, the IRS did open that tool up yesterday which again, so people think they're going to get there. If you go to irs.gov, there's actually a lot of information there. Let's go ahead and take another break. We're 2-3 breaks behind? Let's go ahead and take another break so I can get some more water. This is Gilbert Talks Too Much, WCAB 590 AM, 100.9 FM.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300. People come up to me all the time and say, Gilbert, thank you for doing my tax return. I just got my refund. Any idea what I can do with that refund? Oh, yes, I've got an idea. Call NC Tractor and Farm Supply on Railroad Avenue. Get yourself a brand new Massey Ferguson. You can call Phil at 828-429-5008. And when you're talking to Phil, mention you heard it on Gilbert Talks Taxes. You know what he'll do for you? Absolutely nothing. But me, he's going to give me a discount when I buy my Massey Ferguson.
This is Gilbert Talks Taxes. We're back. Yeah, give me a discount so I can get my tractor on my vast 2-acre estate. I want one, though. I really do. I'm going to get one soon. Soon. Phil, I'm going to get one. And all the small business people that are listening to me, Betty, good morning. Scott. Scott says he drives around listening to me while he's working. And a lot of you that I've met that have run into me said, I was talking to somebody and they go, I know your voice. I said, well, I do a radio program. You're Gilbert. I listen to you. Good morning, that person. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. Let me talk about small business owners. You've got a deadline coming up. Actually, got a couple deadlines coming up. Now, this coming Tuesday, we have a big deadline. Estimated tax payments. Those of you, individuals, trusts, anybody, businesses, estimated tax payments. It's due the 15th of January. Now, there is a small exception to that where you do not pay the penalty. Estimated tax payment, okay, you've got to make 4 estimated tax payments throughout the year. If you don't make those payments and you owe money, there is a small penalty for not paying estimated taxes. And the penalty is very small. So to some people, they'd rather not do it. Other people, the penalty is big enough that they just don't want to have to write that big check at the end of the year. I've got, people that pay their own taxes, or self-employed people, or they have very large investment portfolios, and their gain is what I make last year. So they paid a lot of taxes. You have on the 15th. The exception to that is if you can have your tax return done and filed by January 31st, you can opt out of that January 15th tax payment and not have a penalty. But typically, most people that have to pay estimated tax payments have a complicated tax return. And the odds of them getting that tax return done by January 31st are very, very, very slim. So don't even try that one. It's due the 15th. Again, you can make that payment online. North Carolina, you can go to North Carolina Department of Revenue's website. You can go to irs.gov and make that payment. Or if you just want to mail a check, just be sure you send that check. Your envelope is stamped the 15th. It is your stamp date, so you get it in the mail, the 15th. Okay, for no penalty. If you're going to do that and it's a substantial enough payment, you may want to send it certified or registered so you at least got some kind of a receipt to prove that. I'd hate to just throw caution to the wind. But again, being able to pay it online, there should be no need for that. You can just pay it online and get it out on time. And North Carolina's website, by the way, is North Carolina, ncdor.gov. Okay? That is the only website for North Carolina, ncdor.gov. And I'm very careful, make sure you're on the right website because you're going to be putting your Social Security number and your bank information out there. So just be sure you're on the right website. Okay, so that's the first big deadline we got going on, is your estimated tax payments that are due. Second, another deadline we got coming up is W-2s and 1099s. 1099 miscellaneous. 1099 interest. If you are a small business and you paid, like an individual investor loaned you some money and you gave him some interest, and it's a substantial amount, you need to file a 1099 INT. 1099 miscellaneous. Those are due by January 31st. W-2s are also due by January 31st. So that's the big crunch we have right now, getting all of those out. We're really doing good this year. Congratulations, just Lynn and Christy, Allison, Rosio. They have been working very, very hard. And they've called people up and they've said, Christy, get me that information. I need it now. They're like, yes, ma'am. They run in with it. Your 1099s, if you gave anybody more than $600, you are supposed to give them a 1099. Now, I'm just giving a heads up. It's too late to do anything about this now, but just be aware for next year. Some of the states are pressing for withholding even on a 1099. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Then there is withholding at that level. Especially if you are an out-of-state contractor working in that state. So you small business people may be getting letters. You may be getting letters. What I've been seeing a lot of is South Carolina. North Carolina people working in South Carolina. And they're working down there a lot. Especially here, we're right on the border. I know one contractor, a client of mine, all his work is in South Carolina. And he's a big operator. Just because that's who he's working for right now. And they're long projects. They're taking a long time, and he's going to be there for a long time. South Carolina will send you a letter discussing your withholding on your subcontractors, subcontract labor. Okay? Don't ignore that letter. It could be there could be some dire consequences for ignoring that letter. Okay, so just be aware of that. You may be doing some withholding on these subcontractors. Okay, so 1099s are due the 31st. Now they should fill out the W-9 form, which has the information. You can get that online, the W-9 form, or call my office. I can email you or fax you some. The W-9 has the information that I need to issue the 1099. It's got the name of the entity, the classification, the address, and the most important EIN number or the Social Security number, because some people will use their social, or an ITIN number if they're using an ITIN. But that's the thing. My advice to you, again, it's too late for last year, but you can do it this year. My advice to small business, anybody who has a subcontractor that they're going to be doing this kind of work, have them fill out the W-9. Don't wait till now, because let me tell you what happens when I call them and tell them, call your subcontractor and say, oh, Mr. Subcontractor, I am calling you, I'm the accountant for ABC Construction, and Mr. ABC Construction is going to be sending you a 1099. I need your information. The next thing I hear is a dial tone. Okay? And then when I call the number back, I'm blocked. Okay? So I have a few telephone numbers at the office, so I'll make a few phone calls. And everybody's got a cell phone, so I'll send a text or two. But they just block me. And I can't get him. In an IRS audit, depending on the auditor, you would lose. And when I say depending on the auditor, is some auditors may have a little mercy on you, especially if it's your first time and you didn't quite understand. But what happens is, and I have seen it, I've never had it happen to one of my clients yet, but I have seen it, the auditor will disallow that subcontractor expense. So most contractors, most general contractors know this game. They've been around. They have what's called a new supplier or a new vendor packet, and in that packet is that that W-4 form. It's you newbies that usually get burned with this, and after you've been burned once, you learn. So they have a vendor packet, and in that vendor packet, they already have the W-4, they have the request for the workman's comp and the request for the liability insurance. They have all those things in a little packet stapled together or in a folder or however you want to give it to them. But you give it to them and you tell them, you will not get your first check until I get this back. And my one contractor takes it to the next level. He gives them the packet, which I put together for him. And I have that packet. If you need it, please email me, call me, 828-289-9300, gilbert@gilbertcarmona.com. I'll get that to you so you can see what I'm talking about. He took it to the next level, and he said, get this back to Gilbert, and if Gilbert is okay with it, or when Gilbert lets me know, shoot me an email, let me know it's okay, I will release the check. Totally taking it off him and blaming me, which I thought was pretty smart. It's pretty Donald Trump of him. To do that, and really totally took it off of him and put it on me, and now I'm the bad guy, which is fine. I have no problem with that. The important thing is I've got all of his W-4s for everybody he pays. Don't sit there and think, because this is what happens. Now it's January and you're sitting across the desk from me, and you go, and I tell you where we got to give Mr. Drywaller here a 1099 because you paid him $12,000. He said, no, I didn't think I was going to pay him more than $600. Don't think, because you don't know what's going to happen. The first job you gave him may have been a couple of $100s, but all of a sudden he becomes your primary guy, and you're feeding him a ton of work, and you forgot all about this W-4. Get it on the front end, on everybody. The software will tell me how much you paid everybody, because I keep track of it, or you keep track of it. And if it's $600 or less, you don't send them one. If it's $600 or more, you send them one, because in the audit, that expense would be disallowed. So what happens when an expense is disallowed? It becomes income. And what happens to income? It becomes taxable. So I've heard enough horror stories of guys having hundreds of thousands of dollars of contractor expenses disallowed till he started. Well, what he did is he just went back and started issuing 1099s to these people, because you can do that. You can go back and do it for prior years and get that thing resolved. Try to get it resolved that way, because you don't want that to happen. Oh yeah, that story made me skip a heartbeat. I can't imagine sitting there next to him when the auditor is telling him this. So it's serious, very, very serious. So get it on the front end. Don't give them that first check, because you will not see them again. Trust me. You will not see. And I hate getting dial tones. I really do. I hate getting dial tones. So that's the big thing I want to talk about. I've got a few minutes left. And we have one more break. How long is that break for? And then I'll have 2 minutes, 3 minutes left, because we had a little problem. NBC or ABC or whatever that news was jumped in, and we started a little late. Okay, let's take that break, and then I'll have a few minutes. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB 590 AM.
This is Gilbert. I want to tell you about Jesse James Railroad Express at 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. It's a great place. Jesse's a good friend of mine, and I encourage you to stop by and support him. On Mondays, he's doing a 99-cent hot dog, mustard, chili, and onions. When you go, tell him Mr. Fabulous himself sent you. This is Gilbert. I've made a career out of helping businesses. Something else that can help businesses is a good sign. Let me tell you about DS Signs and Graphics right here in Spindale. Whether it's outdoor signage, banners, printing, or promotional items, call Alex at 828-286-4900. And remember, a good sign is good business.
We're back. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB. I look forward to hearing from folks. Let me know what topics you're having problems with. I'll be back next week. But, okay, so I'm done talking about the tax law. I'm done talking about taxes. Let's just talk about what this all gets back to. And Jay and I started to talk a little bit about this before the program. Is what this all gets back to is really, it's about taxes, yeah, but it's about how you run your business. And how you run your business is about you, your person, the person, you. We've got a lot going on right now with this government shutdown. We've got a lot going on with our president, our Congress, our Senate, our Supreme Court justices. There's just a lot going on. A lot of people think I'm number one, people think I'm a Republican. I'm not. I'm independent. And I did support our president. I do support our president. But when our president does something wrong, I call him out on it. And when he does something right, I love him for it. And so far, I've seen the man really try very, 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 very hard. He's got integrity, I believe. They talk about him being a liar. There's a difference between lying and negotiating. Okay? Unfortunately, there is. Is he a liar? No. Yes. It depends how you want to see it. How do you want to see it? I believe this is one of the few men that I can call by name who really has our best interest at heart. And I believe that with my whole heart. There's a scripture. So as I was reading all this and thinking about all this, there's a scripture, Proverbs 14:12. There is a way which seems right to a man and appears straight before him. Now I'm reading out of the Amplified Bible. Okay? Whatever version you like to read, please look this up. This is a very powerful scripture, and it really tells us a lot of things. I've actually looked it up in several different versions, and it's pretty much the same. There is a way which seems right to a man and appears straight before him, but at the end of it is the way of death. Another version says, but it ends in death. It leads to death. There is a way which seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death. And I really don't believe that all of these people, whether you agree with them or not, they would think that they're evil, wicked people. We assign these things to whoever is not of our political leaning. Because I go to some of the CNN sites and I read the comments of what their fan base says, and it's shocking. It just shocks you that they really believe that. And then you go to another opposing and read that fan base, and in a way I'm equally shocked because there is a way which seems right to a man. I said before, with this shutdown, I keep thinking about John F. Kennedy, probably one of the wisest quotes I have ever read. And I read books. If you come to my house, I'll show you my library. I have a lot of books about a lot of presidents. I have biographies of a lot. Well, let me say this: not of a lot of presidents. I have a lot of books about a few presidents, because there's only a few I really felt are worth the time. I'm sorry, it's just a handful. The rest of them I just whatever. But there's a few. But John F. Kennedy said, I talked about this 2 weeks ago. Talked about it last week. Let us not seek the Republican solution. Let us not seek the Democrat solution. Let us seek the right solution. What's right for this nation. And that's really all I pray. That's all I pray that our president finds. That's all I pray that Nancy Pelosi finds. That's all I pray that Chuck Schumer finds. What is the right way? It's easy to blame Congress. Everybody hates Congress. This is what I was talking about earlier. Everybody hates the government. And we can all, 2 minutes, and we can all talk bad about our government. And it's easy. I mean, they're a soft target, and they all, we all do stupid things. It just seems like they have a special gift for it. It just seems that way, and they're just under such a scrutiny. And everybody says government's broken, immigration is broken, this is broken, that's broken. And you see these congressmen hold up a bill to remove the Electoral College, and you think, have you ever read the Constitution? This isn't this. You don't do a bill to get rid. Let's just get rid of the Constitution. Okay, and maybe that is what they want. I don't know, but that's not where I'm going. It's easy to blame Congress and blame the government, blame the president, and blame this and blame that, and blah blah blah. Okay, I propose a something I noticed, and I'm not the first one to think of this. It's the media that's broken. Who do we get our information from? Who tells us what we see? We were talking earlier. You remember, and you used the word. You remember journalists. I didn't think of that word. I used the names. The ones I knew. I mean, Walter Cronkite. Folks, if Walter Cronkite, and many of you that are listening are old enough to remember, in the day, if Walter Cronkite said it, it was gospel. Why? Because he had integrity. He had the kind of integrity you can cut with a knife and taste. Real integrity. He was a real journalist. Those don't exist today. They tell us what they want to tell us. They're mind readers. They tell us what they think Donald Trump is thinking. Or whatever. And you can apply it to anybody. I mean, on the other side, Nancy and Chuck. It's not about them. None of them right now. It's about, I really think what we have is a broken media. That girl, the socialist, and she says she's a socialist, the girl from New York, Bronx, the 28-year-old who knows everything. She was being interviewed. I have not seen any reporter, any commentator, because you're right, they are commentators, ask her a hard question. She was on the one show, not 60 Minutes. She was on another show that's known to be a pretty hard show. And I was waiting to see maybe he, and I don't have his name right now, I got a minute left, to see if he was going to ask her a hard question. She walks on stage. He comes out from behind the desk and gives her a hug. Gives her a hug. I said, well, forget the hard questions there. And they went down like, what she thought about puppies or something. I can't remember. Whatever it was. Where's the hard questions? Where is it? So I just want to leave everybody with that. Consider your way and the way that you consider to be straight. Is it the right way? There's another scripture that says, what's this thing I hold in my right hand? Is it a lie? I just want to encourage you to consider that this week. Thank you for listening. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB 590 AM 100.9 FM.
Get today's news on your way home from work with Tom Green and the Afternoon Report starting at 5:05 right here on the most news and information for the foothills. WCAB Rutherfordton. WCAB.
Today's hits and yesterday's memories. WCAB Rutherfordton. Let the WCAB marketing team go to work for your business. It works. Call Tracy or Jim at 287-3356.
North Carolina Tractor Supply, your Massey Ferguson dealer in Rutherfordton, has some really great ideas this year. This could be the year for you to get that Massey Ferguson you've been wanting. Stop by today and see what Massey Ferguson and Phil Sheehan at North Carolina Tractor Supply have for you. Check to see if you qualify for 0% financing. Today could be your day at North Carolina Tractor Supply, Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton.
Good morning and happy Saturday. We're mainly dry throughout the day today with cloudy skies. A 20% chance of seeing a flurry, but high temperatures today climb into the lower 40s. So not expecting any impacts